So welcome everybody to our Security Buyer Live exclusive interview with Security LeadHER co-chairs, Elaine Palome, Director of Human Resources Americas at ASIS Communications, and Antoinette King, CEO of Credo Cyber Consulting. So representing both the Security Industry Association and ASIS International, Elaine and Antoinette will be revealing why this event is so important to the progression of the industry and exploring the challenges faced by women in security every day. So hello, Elaine. Hello, Antoinette. It's great to be with you here today and to be able to talk about this important topic. So to start us off, could you tell us a little bit more about what we can expect from the event and what role you both have to play in the making of it?
Sure. Thanks, Rebecca. We're thrilled to be here. First, let me start by saying how pleased I am that the Security Industry Association's Women in Security Forum and ASIS are co-hosting this inaugural event. In this case, 1 + 1 definitely makes much more than 2. And together we will offer attendees, both seasoned veterans and young professionals, opportunities to meet strong women face-to-face in keynote sessions and workshops that are designed especially for them. Many hands make light work, and Antoinette and I are only 2 of the approximately 20 people who are working together to make this a memorable event.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, again, thank you for having us to talk about this, but I am so just honored to be working hand in hand with Elaine to bring this event to light. And also, I just want to echo that we're just kind of at the top, just overseeing. There's so many other people that are doing such amazing work, everything from working on getting content and making sure that the sessions are relevant and will be worth people's time, having sponsors come in, getting the keynote speakers. There's so many wheels that are turning, and both organizations are working tirelessly to make this happen. So I'm super excited. What I'm most excited about this event is the fact that it is an event created for women, in order to help them grow professionally and personally, but also we have so many male champions and colleagues that are involved in helping either promote the event, attending the event. I've had several people reach out to me from the industry, male champions that are like, what can we do to support this event? We want to come, so I'm really, really excited about the fact that not only is it something that's going to help women advance their careers and learn, but it's also an opportunity for us to all come together for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful concept.
Well, it's definitely a concept that we also want to support as well. So Elaine, why do you think there is such a need to establish this sort of event? And how do you think it will benefit the industry more so in the long run?
Yes, thanks, Rebecca. So 5 years ago, I was part of the team who founded the Women in Security Forum at the Security Industry Association. And since then, we've grown to an organization of over 1,000 members who support the development of women in our industry in many different ways through scholarships and charitable organizations, mentorship, and educational and events. And this conference will give us the opportunity to expand our offering to developing women in our industry, just a natural outgrowth of the work that we're doing to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion in our industry.
Can I just add one real quick thing? I think
yeah,
what I'm really, really excited about is that oftentimes when we have any kind of speaking event, whether it's ISC West or GSX or any of the other Securing New Grounds, sometimes it's really difficult to get women to step forward and put themselves out there to speak and kind of put themselves on the stage. This is a wonderful opportunity to give women the chance to think about ideas that are relevant to our industry and have a voice and be able to use their voice. And that's exciting to me because, real quick anecdotal story, the first time that I saw Elaine speak was at a See You There event in New York. And she was up on a panel and they were talking about bringing young professionals into the industry. And I was so inspired by the fact that Elaine was new to our industry. She had been in HR for a very long time, but new to the industry when she worked at ASIS, that she was up there and she was putting herself out there. And that actually was the catalyst for me to start getting involved with SIA and ASIS more boldly. And so thank you, Elaine, for that, because you really provided me with, just somebody like me up on a panel doing something that I wanted to do. And so I think that this is an opportunity to give young women as well, the opportunity to have their voice.
Thanks. I'm blushing.
And that's something that you pointed out that's so important, is to be able to create these figureheads and these inspirations to women who not just entering the industry, whether they have a highly prolific career, but just starting out in the industry as well, and to give that kind of mentoring program and that peer support is something that's so important, not just across women in security, but across the whole industry. And Antoinette, as I definitely think that I identify you as one of these female figureheads who are trying to pioneer women in security. And you've been quite vocal about this empowerment for your colleagues and your peers. What instigated this passion, other than obviously Elaine's fantastic panel?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for a very long time. I started out as a technician in the industry, so it's very rare to have a woman, carrying a tool belt and a ladder and building systems and mounting cameras. And so I've been in the industry about 23 years. For the first 10 to 12 years, I was legitimately the only woman in the room most of the time. And so I always found that I would try to fit myself into the male roles, right? And just kind of morph myself into the background because I didn't want to stand out. It was very challenging for me to be feminine and that kind of like womanly person when I was a tech. And then social media started to grow. ASIS, women in security community started to grow. The Women in Security Forum was developed. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, there are more of you. And I just got so excited to be able to have women in my circle that were professional and strong and in leadership roles, that it just ignited the passion for security even more for me, right? Because I know the studies show, we could talk about it ad nauseum, but diverse organizations are going to be more innovative. They're going to be more successful. So, and the morale is going to be better. So in order to make sure that we as an industry continue to grow and be innovative, this particular topic, when it comes to gender as well as ethnicity and, just all the things that make us diverse, that's what's important for our industry. We need to continue to innovate, and this is the way that we do it.
And similarly, Elaine, as well. Although you're not new, obviously you have several years in the security industry, but for someone who's new coming into the security industry, despite having a very established career, women and the gender difficulties and challenges that we come across every single day is not something that's just relevant in the security industry, but something relevant throughout all industries. So where did your passion come from to get really stuck in this type of topic?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I have to say it has to do a little bit with competition. So when I first joined ASIS, we had a global HR meeting of all of the HR heads around the world. And at that time, we were starting to look at diversity in our workforce, specifically gender diversity. And my Chinese colleague was doing much better at getting a better balance between men and women. And I thought, ooh, I like a good challenge, so watch this. And I came back to the management team and talked to them about the fact, as Antoinette said, that having a diverse workforce leads to better outcomes for the company as well as the people, and started putting together a program for ASIS. And at the same time, the Women in Security Forum was just getting started. So I was kind of in the right place at the right time. Frankly, I think that it was a long time coming. And I think that we're doing a really good job of getting more women into our industry and getting women to actually get out there and speak and talk about their experience. But we still have a long way to go. We need to be better at identifying, hiring, and developing diverse talent of all types, not just gender.
And speaking of equality, equity, diversity, and inclusion, all of which have been pretty huge talking points in the industry recently, especially with the ASIS International and Clarity Factory report and the findings of the security industry that came out recently. So Elaine, given your background in human resources and what you've just mentioned there, why do you think that it is only now that we're starting to see this topic gain traction?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I would argue that it's actually been an important topic all along. However, the recent lack of qualified candidates in the last number of years in our industry has forced us to focus on a pool of talent that's been there the whole time, but has been underutilized. 50% of the available talent are women, and our companies should reflect that in their workforces. We should be looking like the normal population of people.
And I'd be interested to hear both of your opinions for my next question. So perhaps, Antoinette, you could speak first. But for those watching today who are interested in helping advance women in security in their own organizations, what advice would you give to them?
Well, first and foremost, I attribute a lot of my success to my male allyship. There have been men in ASIS in particular that have tapped me on the shoulder to say, hey, we would like you to engage. We know that you have something that, you know, to say, and we like your experience and we want your voice to be heard. And so I think one of the most important things is to have male allyship, and I'm seeing that grow exponentially. So I'm really proud of our industry for doing that. And I want to make sure that we understand that, you know, having an event like Security LeadHER is not to create any kind of division, right? This is to bring everyone together and giving an opportunity for male allies to be center stage as well, right? We all want to be up there together, supporting one another. So really tapping women on the shoulder, and I'm sure Elaine can speak to the statistics better than I can, but, you know, women traditionally don't necessarily put themselves out there, whereas men will. It's just a difference in the personalities. So having male allies to kind of guide women in the industry to feel confident and comfortable enough to put themselves out there, I believe is the first step.
And Elaine, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, so if you are interested in helping advance women in security in your organization, joining the Women in Security Forum or the ASIS DE&I community is a great way to start. It will help you network with other like-minded professionals and get the conversation going at your organization. And you'll have the opportunity to see what other organizations are doing to move the diversity needle. It doesn't have to necessarily start with management. You can start on a grassroots level, just as I said, getting the conversation going.
And you mentioned earlier, Antoinette, you mentioned that a lot is being done to bring the call for content up for this session. A lot of sessions, a lot of conferences, a lot of keynotes. Is there any particular innovations or trends or mentoring topics that you think that we can expect to take a full center stage during the LeadHER event?
Actually doing the content review right now, so we can't really speak so much to the content that's going to be center stage, but I can tell you, being knee deep in reviewing the submissions, there are some really great topics that are going to come forward. And what I love the most is that this is not just topics on, women and diversity. This is innovation as well. So there are a lot of topics that are security specific and not necessarily gender specific. So that was surprising to me. I'm really glad that we've had a lot of those, both innovation and professional development content submissions. So I'm excited about that, but we really can't speak yet to what content is going to be center stage because the decisions haven't been made.
And Elaine, from what I've seen, this has been a highly welcomed event in the market. But in your opinion, has there been an overall reception for the security industry?
Yeah, so echoing what Antoinette said, the response to the call for submissions was incredible. We've received many high-quality proposals for topics that are current and relevant for attendees, both women and men. And what I liked about it is that these submissions came from all parts of our industries: manufacturers, integrators, distributors, consultants. In addition to that, registrations continue to come in, and we expect this to be a sellout event, which is pretty impressive considering this is our inaugural event. And people are talking about it, whether it's on LinkedIn or in the hallways at my particular organization. There's a buzz around it, and that makes me feel really great and very excited to see what's coming.
And it's so important to have content that's respective of all sides of the industry, especially when you're dealing with quite a difficult and potentially controversial topic. Not that it should be controversial; it should be very, very much accepting. So going back to one of the biggest topics when it comes to women in security, in my opinion, I think it's something that the gender balance in C-suite and board level roles, which is something you mentioned just now, Elaine. Antoinette, why do you think this is such a particularly difficult challenge?
This is a loaded question. So I believe there's a couple of different things going on here. First of all, women tend not to put themselves out there, like I said a couple of times today, specifically when it comes to job roles, right? So if you have a job description for a C-suite position, many women will not necessarily apply for those roles if they don't feel confident that they meet or exceed like 80% or more of the roles and responsibilities. Traditionally, and statistically, and I know Elaine can speak to this, men will apply if they have 50% or less and just they'll apply, right? Because it's just a different mentality. So I think part of the reason is that we don't have enough women applying for the positions. And then also, this could be seen as controversial, but I also feel like sometimes there's challenges with women in leadership not bringing up other women in leadership. And so I do feel that women who are in leadership positions need to do a better job of mentoring and being welcoming to junior people within the organization to help promote them and get them brought up the ranks. But I think that it's a combination of both things, and hopefully events like this can help people dispel some of it. Elaine, I would love to hear your.
Yeah, I don't think that's controversial at all. I think we have a duty of care. We have a duty to pay it forward. And, if we've been successful at the C-suite, we have a duty to bring, like you said, other women along. So, yeah, no controversy there.
And lastly, one final question for the both of you. What are you most excited to see at the LeadHER event? Elaine, perhaps you want to reveal
first?
Sure.
Yeah, so I personally cannot wait to stand in the room and see hundreds of women, all coming together to learn and share. I'm really, really looking forward to that.
I actually got goosebumps listening to Elaine say that, because that truly is, for me, like I said, growing up from my 20s and now in my 40s, from being the only woman in the room, and often at events where they were hiring women to come into the booth because they didn't have women to actually fill the booth, right? To now being at a point where we could create an event where there could be, hundreds of women, professional security women in an event, is just inspiring and so exciting. So I have to say it's the same. Just being there and being able to see that is going to be incredible.
Well, it's definitely something that we look forward to being a part of as well. Unfortunately, that is all that we have time for today. But I do want to extend my appreciation to both of you for pioneering such an important event, and for all the people that are working backstage and behind the stage in helping bring everything come together, bring everything together. And I look forward to seeing you both there as well. And thank you for your time. Is there anything else that you would like to round off with at the end of this session?
Just if you haven't registered, please do so.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much.